Special team coverage for you tonight. The death of that student who attended Mitchell High School has sparked outrage and community outreach to try and stem the tide of this opioid epidemic. News 5's Mayo Davison continues our coverage in studio, and you spoke with a local doctor about the harmful effects. What did he tell you?
Yes, Rob. Well, Dr. Robert Lamb with UC Health says fentanyl is extremely dangerous, and that's because of how potent it is. The drug is not only concerning to health professionals, but parents in our community. A tragic death in the District 11 community.
I, brought it up with my son probably a few weeks ago and asked him, about fentanyl. Do you know what fentanyl is? Have you heard about fentanyl?
TARYN Bailey had heard rumors of the fentanyl overdose at Mitchell High School, prompting her to have a discussion with her 17-year-old son.
Making good choices and why it's not a good idea. It's obviously against the law, thinking about, your brain is still developing.
Bailey wanted to be open and honest about the dangers of fentanyl.
My approach has always been just to empower him with knowledge, information, to say, I'm here for you if you ever have questions. If you're not comfortable talking to me, talk to another trusted adult in your life.
Doctors with UC Health says fentanyl is 50 times more dangerous than heroin and 100 times more dangerous than morphine.
Because it is so potent, it affects our respiratory drive. And so patients that take fentanyl can stop breathing and they can actually die from lack of oxygen.
Dr. Robert Lamb says some drugs are now being laced with the synthetic opioid, and it can be hard to spot.
We should assume that any medication that doesn't come from a regulated pharmacy could have that component in it, particularly if it's a drug of abuse.
He recommends having Narcan, which can reverse the effects of an overdose, and fentanyl strips that can test if a drug is laced with it. And parents say, talk to your kids about the dangers of using these kinds of drugs.
Don't assume that your young person doesn't know anything. Don't assume that they haven't heard. Don't assume that they haven't been asked, offered a substance. To just really take the initiative and to start those conversations as soon as possible.
And there is the 911 Good Samaritan law that states a person is immune from criminal prosecution if they call authorities in the case of a drug or alcohol overdose. Robin Allison.
Mayo, thanks. Great information there. Now to our KOAA